the motorcycle's kind of fire. The next trailer I want to look at is called The Strangers. If you guys also have like any games or trailers you want me to check out, please put it in the chat. Okay, I don't know if we can watch Nail in Hand. I don't know if we can watch that clip, but I think we should be able to watch this trailer.
Do you know what today?
So, the little backstory. I watched the first Strangers from 2008. And I don't think this is like a remake. Apparently, according to like the director or the writer, it's not a remake. And it's not like a, I forget, he used 2 words, but he basically said it's not a remake type thing. So, they released, this is chapter 1 coming out in May 17th. And there's 3 parts, and apparently they're all supposed to be coming out this year, allegedly. But we only have a release date for this first one so far. And I think their whole like sort of not tagline, but like the way they're marketing it is like, I think it's even in the trailer. How the strangers became the strangers. So the first movie, there's also 2 movies so far. I haven't seen the second one. It's called Animals at Night or Prey at Night or something like that. I've only seen the first one. So I don't know the information from the second one, but we don't like the whole thing about the movie is it's really mysterious. Like everything in the movie happens, but we don't have like there's only one line that really explains why it is what it is, and they have a similar line in here, so I won't spoil it yet. It's right here. So let's just watch this, but basically I don't know how it relates to the previous ones. It seems to be a prequel since they said witness how the strangers became the strangers. But then again, at the end of the first Strangers, they the strangers who I believe are like the let's just look it up. Who I believe are the perpetrators kind of thing. Like I think these are the strangers, I'm guessing. Instead of them, you know. These I'm guessing are the strangers. I don't want to show too much crazy stuff. I don't want to get demonetized or whatever, but the end of the movie, after they do what they do, break in and all, one of the strangers says to the other stranger, it'll be easier next time. So it seems like that 2008 movie was the first time they've done it, but this says witness how they became the strangers, and it's not supposed to be a remake, so I don't know. Thank you, Spampton, on the 10K, or the 11K, I appreciate that, guys. Thank you all. But yeah, so I don't know where we stand on that. I could do more research to find out, like, I know it's not supposed to be a remake, but I don't know if it's supposed to be a prequel, a sequel, or, like, take place, like, around the same time. Like, I don't really know. Or if it's, like, a copycat type situation where it's not the originals. But again, he said, anyways, let's watch it. You said, have you seen the new Fallout trailer? I haven't. We could watch that. Morbius trailer is heat. Cameron's living in 2001. Spampton, hey, congrats on the 11th. Thanks again. All right, let's watch this.
You know what today is?
Today is the 3rd day of our 3-day road trip across the country.
Or our 5-year anniversary.
So immediately, we have a contrast from the first movie, because the first movie started in a very similar situation with 2 people in the car, except in the first movie, which again, I'm calling it the first movie, but I don't think they're really related in terms of like a time. I mean, they might be, I don't know, but anyways, here they're talking about like they're obviously a happy couple, but in the first movie, he had proposed to her the same night and she said no. So they were like on the 2 in the first movie were in a really rough situation starting the movie. Here we have a happy couple. So it's interesting to kind of like contrast between the 2 movies. Let me real quick respond to a text because I got a call that I just want to respond to real quick. Okay. So, just rewind again just to like take that
Do
in.
you know what today is?
Today is the 3rd day of our 3-day road trip across the country.
Or our 5-year anniversary.
Okay, 5-year anniversary. Again, in the first movie, these aren't the same people, by the way, because they didn't survive the first movie. But anyway, They're 5 years married. The first movie had them just been, he had just been refused or whatever by her. And what else was I just going to say? They were also meant to take a road trip, but they canceled it after the proposal was refused. So it's interesting here that they are, I mean, at least they probably also won't make it to the road trip based on the events of this movie. But it's interesting. We could also watch this trailer after Imaginary. I think that's a horror movie. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just a teddy bear movie. Okay, so that's the difference here. Happy couple, 5 years married, goes on a road trip. The first movie had an unhappy couple. They hadn't been married, and they were also going to take a road trip. Let me just real quick. Me over here still thinking he was at 3K. Hey, I'm going to have to head out. I got to finish the assignment. Where I live, it's 8:45. All right, good night, Spamton. Hope you get it done. Do the best you can. Don't stress over it if you can help it. Thanks for coming by. Rodimus Magnus. Hey, what's up? Grand Piano. What did I just join? I think it's a trailer reaction. Cool Kids Club. Yeah, we're just looking at some trailers for horror movies right now. I hope you don't mind. So yeah, let's get into it.
Across the country.
Or our 5-year anniversary. What a cool little town. I actually like this so much better than a hotel. I'll bet the people who live here are really happy.
I want to see who unlocked the door. Was it her? She's in front. In the first movie, it was his cabin. I'm saying him. It was the male's, the boyfriend's cabin. These aren't the same people, but in the first movie it was the boyfriend's cabin. This one, I don't know if it doesn't seem to be hers, even though she appears to be the one to open it. They might be renting it. This probably doesn't even matter, but she says this is more of whatever than a hotel.
It's so much better than a hotel.
Look at, she's like looking around like, hey, this is way better than a hotel.
I actually like this so much better than a hotel.
So I'm guessing, plus they're bringing suitcases, I'm guessing they're renting this property. I don't think, she seems like she's pretty much saying she doesn't own it, and he's not giving any information that says that he owns it. Plus they live together for married for 5 years. They've apparently never been here, it seems like. I'm guessing that they're renting this place out, which actually, yeah, because she also mentions that everyone here looks happy, so she's making an inference. Which he could own this place and he could have come here before, but it seems like she's never been in the area. That's just my assumption.
Better than a hotel. I'll bet the people who live here are really happy.
I looked it up because I watched this entire trailer the other day. This guy is Joe Chill. I don't want to get demonetized for that. From The Dark Knight. Because I was like, I know this creepy dude. He's him. Right here. So he's a fan favorite already. The guy who killed Batman's parents. So let's just take this slow. This could be an interesting part.
Really happy.
Beamer. We accept food stamps. Okay, I don't know what to make of that. Obviously, everyone's giving them like dirty looks. They're probably outsiders. Little diner. Even the cops like look at them weird. Literally everyone looks at them weird. Oh, she was Grand Piano. That would be the cooler Kids Club. Alright, we might, if you guys want, we can play Minecraft later, but I have other plans too. So, we can decide that later, but let's just watch this for now.
Tough crowd, right?
Notice how she looked at her, or she looked at him. Like everyone in this town is like, yeah, they're not welcome here.
Tough crowd, right?
I also don't know either of these actors as far as I can remember.
Hi.
Hi.
So these are two Mormon boys who were at the end of the first movie, but they seem to be like not involved in the thing in the first movie. Like they seem to be like, what do you call it? Like not really bystanders, but almost just like they showed up at the way end of the movie and they seemed to like have nothing to do with the situation. So it's interesting that they seem to like be a part of whatever this like cult slash, you know, strange activity going on in this town is. It seems like they may have, again, we don't know what the relation, I don't at least know what the relation between the first movie and this movie is, but I'm wondering if, yeah, the Shining Twins, yeah, exactly. They do give off those vibes. So yeah, creepy kids, nothing new. Yeah, I love that. I love her reaction. She's not very pleased. I love how like 10 seconds early she goes, I bet everyone here is happy. Oh, maybe not.
Do you hear that?
Hear what?
The silence.
I wonder if that's a line from the first movie. I doubt it, but the whole thing about these movies is like someone keeps knocking on their door.
Silence. It's nice.
What, have they never kissed before? What's going on here? That's also interesting how incredibly loud this knock is. That sounds like he knocked with like a battering ram.
Is Tamara here?
No.
So I think he said it's Tamara here. Is it Tamara? Yeah, it's Tamara. I personally don't know who Tamara is, but that is like a theme in these movies. In the first movie, the woman knocked on his door twice. The first time is Tamara here, then came back like an hour, I don't know, sometime later, said the same thing. And she was like, you've already asked this. Like, you've already been here asking this. What's the problem? The interesting part here, it's obviously a young guy, right? Who wears some kind of beanie. You can see here that, like, I don't know, in the first movie it was a similar situation where they were all blacked out kind of thing. In the first movie they kind of insinuated that the person had unscrewed their lights. So in the first movie the person knocks on the door, it's the same thing, like you can hardly see them, they're just in darkness. And then after they leave in the first movie, he goes and like screws the lights back in. So the lights just weren't working because this person unscrewed them for a reason. But the other thing is, in the first movie, the person who knocked on the door was part of the strangers. I don't know if we can look up the strangers without like getting tossed. Let me just open this link in a new tab. Oh, bad idea, bad idea. Anyway, okay, let's just not do that because I don't want to find... Anyways, there's 3 people. 2 girls, it looks like, and 1 guy. This guy looks way too young to be a stranger. I mean, he might not be too young to be a stranger, but it's just interesting. Like, I wonder if he is one of them, like the person who knocked in the first movie was, or he might not be one of the 3 strangers, but he could be involved in another way. You know what I mean? Like, they could have sent him to scope it out, and then they could be like in the back somewhere. I don't know.
Tamara here?
No.
I think you have the wrong home.
They said the same thing in the first movie, I'm pretty sure. Why does he look back at her like that? He just looks like so upset.
The wrong home.
He kind of gives like, why did you say that? Yeah, I don't know how they're saying this isn't a remake, because like the record player was such a big role in the first movie too. Like, a lot of what we've seen, I mean, obviously, like, there are differences. Like, this couple is married and they're, you know, they enter the town, because we don't ever see the town in the first movie. They just go straight to the cabin, and like it starts and ends in the cabin pretty much the whole movie. But it is interesting, like the incredible similarities. I think it's like a sequel or a prequel. They said it's not a remake. But the whole branding here, once you see it, it says, witness how the strangers became the strangers. So I think it's like a prequel or something. Is The Strangers Chapter 1 a prequel? They're saying it's a prequel to the first film, which is the Wikipedia answer, but That's just interesting because, like, the first movie, specifically at the end, one of the strangers said to the other, like, it will get easier next time, or something like that. So it's weird that, like, that kind of insinuated it was the first time. So maybe, like, these kids were the first strangers, then they grew up and became, like, the old strangers, and then they took on, like, some other members later. I don't know. So it's not a remake, Cameron. Apparently, it's a prequel. They're saying the director said it's not a remake. Apparently, it's a prequel. I don't know. But it seems like strange. Maybe, I think based on what we've read, it is a prequel. We just don't have all the information yet. I think that's where we are. Like, there's some stuff we're just not sure about. Warning here, we're gonna get a little jump scare. Not really jump scare, but like, I went back to like watch if it was like a camera trick, but you can see his shoulder here. So he's just always been here in this shot. Also, you can kind of see handprints here. I don't know if that could just be her for all we know, or maybe it's not even a handprint, but it looks like there's some kind of handprint over here. You know what else I'm wondering? Since I kind of theorized that they might have rented this place out, and since the whole town is kind of like suspicious, I wonder if the strangers rent this place out specifically to commit crimes. Like the first movie, they kind of broke in. I wonder if here they literally just kind of let themselves in because they probably have duplicate keys, you know what I mean? Also, I kind of proved my other theory wrong because this looks like an adult. So I don't think like it is these kids, like, I don't think the first movie is like this kid here, like 10, 15 years later, because this looks like an actual adult. He's the same height as her. And here, he looks shorter. Although she's short too. They actually might be the same height. If you really look, I mean, the perspective's weird. I mean, we could go super crazy and like try to figure out where she was in relation to this when she entered the house. But I don't think anyone wants to do that. But anyways. She's washing her hair, he's there.
You are the messiest eater on the planet.
This might be toss, I don't know. We're about to see like a dead chicken. I might skip it just to be safe. Basically, she thinks that like his lips are dripping ketchup on here, but in reality it's like a chicken cadaver hanging from the chandelier, and she's like laughing it off because she thinks that he's just like spitting out ketchup, which is pretty unrealistic. I really want to see how this, I'm guessing this is like some kind of camera trick here. Like I'm hoping that like in the movie it makes more sense because like, is it really realistic? Where's the French fry box? We can't see it. But like, I'm like, when you think about it, any ketchup that could have fallen out of his mouth onto a French fry box, there's like, this is obviously blood, right? So there's no way his head would be blocking any blood that could come from the ceiling and hit the box. So this would only be blood. So I don't know how she could possibly imagine that that was ketchup, unless she like didn't see it drop and she just looked over afterwards. Again, I don't know why this is so funny, that maybe they're just hammered, but she thinks this is freaking hilarious.
You are the messiest eater on the planet.
And he's also like, what are you talking about? Look at him.
The messiest eater on the planet.
He has no idea what she's talking about. Alright, let's skip this so I don't get tossed. But anyway, someone obviously came in and strung a chicken up on their chandelier. Then they start breaking down the door. I might like turn this down because I think it's gonna get pretty loud. That was a close call. How did they film this? This is crazy. That's actually a crazy shot right there. Holy crap. So I also don't know the pacing of this movie. Like, here's my guess, right? You guys can tell me if you think I'm right or wrong. Wait, what? Oh, yes, I didn't notice a chicken's corpse hanging from the ceiling before I start eating. Is that a Shining reference? I haven't seen The Shining. Did they hang a chicken from the ceiling? I didn't see that. So yeah, the pacing, I'm guessing that she didn't take a shower, like, as they're breaking in, right? Oh, yeah, you're right. Obviously, the axe. Yeah. Here's Johnny Type P, yeah. So here's my thought process. I'm guessing from this point forward, she's not going to be taking a shower. Like, I'm guessing she's probably on edge at this point. So he somehow snuck into the house to watch her shower and then went outside to break in with an axe. Yeah, no, I get it now, Cameron. You're right. So, yeah, somehow he watched her shower, then politely let himself out until they started eating, only to break in with an axe. So he just basically threw the element of surprise out the window, even though he was, like, happily in the house just chilling right here. He decided to let himself go. Let himself walk out just to, like, make an entrance here. Yeah, like, what's the point of, like... Unless this is two... Is it possible these are two different characters? No. No. Absolutely no way. The exact same costume. So why did he, like, look at her in the shower, then leave, and then come through the door? Like, look at how he's, like, so happy to, like, break in right here. And then at some point she comes in. I'm guessing it's not like this. This would just be too crazy. Like, if they all just came in at once. Like, the first movie is so, like, they kind of slowly come in. Like, the way they frame this in the trailer looks like they're eating, he breaks through the door, and then, like, him and the other girl just enter. Like, look at right here, then they run away, and then she's here. Like, I'm guessing that's not how it actually happens. There's no way that, like, she just walks in at the same time as him. Then the movie would be over. This would be, like, the last 10 seconds of the movie. And this is a different girl? Yeah, that's the other masked woman. Wait a minute. She looks like she has a beanie on. That could be the person at the door. Maybe. Although, didn't it sound like a dude's voice?
Is Tamara here?
It's hard to tell. It kind of sounds like a young dude, but it could be a girl. I don't know. I'm not good with voices like that. Me and the boys on on Payday 2 doing a heist. Then what is this scene about? There's like a freaking relationship arc between these two. Like, I feel like that could ruin the movie. Does anyone really care about this? The motorcycle's kind of fire. Oh, no, literally. They did cut the power. They did cut the telephones in the first movie, so this could be a reference. They also blew up their car, I believe. They definitely, like, smashed the car and, like, rammed it with another car or, like, a truck. So this could just be, like, all... I want to say, like, paying homage or kind of like a reference, but in being realistic here, since it's a prequel, this is probably just, like, their kind of MO. You know, they come to the house, they break in, they smash stuff. You know, they cut the power, they break your vehicles, and then they, like, do their thing. Like, so, yeah, it's a reference, but it's also probably literally just how they've always worked, you know? Good, she's safe. Oh, maybe not. Well, now she's safe. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, that's exactly what happens in the first movie right here. They try to leave. Is their window shattered? This guy looks like Dean from the Supernatural show. I'm trying to figure out if their window's, like, shattered, because they did... Yeah, their window's fine here. In the first movie, they vandalized their vehicle before this happened. But anyways, same thing here. I think they even used, like, the exact same car. Like, they had a similar truck in the first movie. Now their car is, like, completely vandalized. Oh, there it is. Is that when he smashes the window? Yeah. That actually looks like a pretty cool scene. Like their car gets rammed and then he's right in front of them. I think they even cut the music in the first movie. Although that could have been the husband, because the husband in the first movie leaves at some point while they, like, before the attack, the husband leaves the house to get cigarettes, and then all the strangers come, and, like, while they're kind of, like, invading the house, the husband comes back, and I think he cuts the music off. But in this movie, it looks like the stranger does it, because he's got his axe out.
Why are you doing this to us? Because you're here.
See, this is another kind of, like, point. This is another point that I think, like, they might have rented this house out for the purpose of, like, invading them. The only reason I can't really back that up is because the house looks like pretty decent condition. So why would they break their own doors, blow up their own motorcycles and cars? Unless, did they come in that car? I guess that's at least their own car. But why would they, like, blow their own motorcycles up if this, like, is a house they rented out to them? But the reason I'm saying that is because the first movie, this line, it was very similar. This whole thing was a very similar scene. She said, "Why are you doing this?" But she said, "Because you were here," or "Because you were home." She said, "Because you were home." Here, she says, "Because you're here." Which could either be the town, because we know the town is weird, or it could literally be the house. Like, you rented our house. This is what we do to people who rent the house. Like, we hunt them for sport. I don't know. Just a theory.
Because you're here.
I think that's it. There's one more scene. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this scene. Is he crying? Like, me personally, maybe this is like a friggin' like hot take, but like, if I'm in this situation and they start doing this, I'm blasting, 100% shooting. Like, I think it's funny that he kind of just sits there and he's like, okay, I'll let them have this one. Like, assuming like they've already broken in all this stuff, like, doesn't he 100% have the right to do that? Anyways, he lets it ride. I'm intrigued but incredibly lost. Yeah, I mean, I also, like, paused it 105 times, but, like, yeah. I agree, it seems like a thriller. Yeah. So that's that. Again, I paused 100 times, but it helps to have the context of the other movies. Because, like, a lot of this is very similar to what they do in the first movie. In the first movie is also, like, a lot of mystery. Like, when I said you don't know what they do, that's, like, why it's weird that they say how the strangers became the strangers. They don't talk until this exact scene here. The only thing they said is Tamara here, twice. Before any, like, violence happens. And then we get here. And they in the first movie, and they have a similar line where it's like, "Why are you doing this?" "Because you were here," or "Because you were home." So, like, it seems like the same thing's going on here. Like, they don't really talk. So we don't really know why they do it. But I don't know if this movie's going to explain why they do it. Because the whole branding is like, how did they become the strangers? So I don't know. It's going to be interesting.